It is my pleasure to welcome you all to Base Watches. What is your level of expertise when it comes to high-end watch brands? There are various companies in the timepiece sector, some of which are still independent, while others have become part of larger luxury goods conglomerates. Each brand has an own genesis narrative, historical highlights, and technical and visual brand DNA. We've produced a list of the top 5 luxury watch brands that every watch fan should be aware of, along with a brief overview of what distinguishes each one. Abraham Louis Breguet was one of the most important figures in the history of watchmaking. His signature invention, the tourbillon, finds some of its most creative and ambitious expressions in the modern Breguet watch brand, whose history can be traced all the way back to 1775. Patented in 1801 as a solution to the effects of gravitational fields on a watch's movement precision, the tourbillon is of course now a staple of many other watchmakers as well. Breguet made the first watch to be wound by means of its crown in 1830, an era in which watches were wound with a key, and Breguet watches throughout history have adorned the waistcoats and wrists of important figures from England's King George III to Queen Marie Antoinette to Sir Winston Churchill. The Mason even established its own signature set of hands, called Breguet hands, back in 1783, which are found on pieces from Breguet's modern classique collection as well as models from many other brands. In addition to its well-curated selection of tourbillon-equipped timepieces and rare complications like the World Time, Horomundi, and its Equation of Time models, Breguet produces luxury with both a nautical and a classical aeronautical flair with its Marine and Type X collections, respectively. Pierre Jacques DROZ, founder of the modern watchmaking house that bears his name, was not only one of the most renowned watchmakers of the 18th century, he was also a pioneer in the development of automatons, which are now considered the first mechanical computers. His lifelike, moving figures, controlled by complex clockwork-like mechanisms, are now on display in museums and inspired smaller versions on JAQUET DROZ clocks and music boxes, which featured singing birds and other mobile creatures. The spirit of these fascinating inventions lives on in the timepieces of today's JAQUET DROZ, which resides alongside BREGUET and BLANCPAIN among the Swatch Group's high-luxury houses. Whereas much of the collection consists of elegantly designed timepieces with more conventional complications, many of them part of the flagship Grande Seconde series, whose figure-8 arrangement of hours and minutes and running seconds on 2 different sized, overlapping subdials has become a brand hallmark. The most breathtaking JAQUET DROZ watches combine minute repeater mechanisms with miniaturized automatons on the dials, which move at the push of the same slide that activates the repeater's chimes. To mark its namesake's 300th birthday in 2021, JAQUET DROZ unveiled the Bird Repeater 300th Anniversary Edition, with tiny birds singing and fluttering against the lush, miniature-painted natural landscape of the enamel dial as the watch chimes the time. GLASHÜTTE Original is a relatively young German luxury brand that nevertheless can boast roots reaching all the way back to the mid-19th century and the birth of watchmaking in the Saxon town of Glashütte. After the Second World War, the Soviet Union, which controlled East Germany and therefore Glashütte, consolidated all of the existing independent watch companies operating in the town under a state-owned conglomerate called the Volkseigener Betrieb Glashütte Uhrenbetriebe. After the Berlin Wall fell and Germany was reunited, the GUB was allowed to be privatized in 1994 and became the GLASHÜTTE Original Company that we know today. Its most emblematic watch designs come from the Pano collection, named for and easily identified by a large panorama date display on the model's asymmetrical dials. Perhaps the most distinctive execution in the collection is the Pano inverse, in which the back of the movement, with its traditional decorative elements like Glashütte ribbing and an engraved balance cock, has been flipped to the front to act as the watch's dial. Recently, GLASHÜTTE Original has revived some sporty models from the GUB era, including the Spasmatic Seek series of divers watches. Headquartered in Saint-Omer, Switzerland, since its founding in 1832 by August Agassiz, Longinus takes its name from the long meadows that surround that picturesque Swiss village. The brand has been a pioneer in sports timing throughout its history, developing timing technologies for racing and a host of equestrian competitions as well as being a one-time Olympic Games timekeeper. Longinus remains heavily involved in equestrian sports today, acting as official timing partner of horse racing's Triple Crown and other events. The company also looks back on an inviolable history of involvement in early aviation, designing the legendary hour angle watch with Charles Lindbergh in 1931 and supplying watches to pilots like Howard Hughes, Amy Johnson, and Amelia Earhart. Longines was also one of the first Swiss brands to embrace quartz technology in the 1950 and remains in that game with its line of Conquest VHP quartz-powered models. Altogether, this collection of history and savoir-faire yields a very versatile collection of both distinctly modern and charmingly retro timepieces, all offering immense value for their price. Blancpain, a brand that originated Weiss centuries ago, has been making watches for longer, as the United States has been a country. With its extensive and elegant Villeret collection, named after the Swiss village where it originated, Blancpain offers a variety of small and high complications, including its signature complete calendar. However, what makes Blancpain truly remarkable is its 50 fathoms, a milestone in watch history. This purpose-built diver's watch was created in 1953 in collaboration with the French Navy's combat swimmers, and its design was later adopted by American military diving units. Today, the 50 fathoms remains a pillar of the Blancpain product range, and its 50 fathoms Bathyscaphe subfamily, based on a retro model from the late 1950, has become a popular collection in its own right. Experience the legacy of Blancpain and its pioneering spirit in the art of watchmaking.